How's it going, everybody? Welcome to today's video. So today I wanted to kind of showcase what does a full body day actually look like if you are putting a little bit of emphasis towards lower body, but most of the emphasis on upper body. Here I'm just starting off with my squats. The main goal of the day was to actively pull myself down into the lowest position possible and try to keep a good position, but also working on depth was the main thing. So you see I'm kind of slowly working down into the squat, kind of pulling myself down and readjusting my positioning a little bit, but that's just all kind of part of it. And what I did here was the bird dog. I use this as a way to kind of warm up the core a little bit, get the tissues to fire and stabilize. This was one of the few drills that I did do for that day, but I didn't record all of them. Instead, I just wanted to get this one because I felt this one was a little bit more important. Alright, so here's my first working set, and I have to admit that that day was a little tricky. I was still kind of sore from doing deadlifts the prior day, but focusing on the positioning was really important for me for that day, so I picked a weight that I knew I could manage, but it was still actually quite challenging. The hardest part about this, or the way that I'm squatting, is to keep positioning, particularly coming out of the hole. So keeping a nice, good angle for the torso and making sure that your hips aren't shooting up super quick or too early. It's really hard to do, but as you start to work on some pause reps or slowing down your repetitions, you do start to get better and clean up some of those technical aspects. Alright, so here I'm moving on to some flat dumbbell presses, and with these I like to try to emphasize getting a really big stretch at the bottom. So the wonderful thing about dumbbell presses is that it allows you to work with a lot of extra range of motion barbell. Unless you have a specialty bar like a camera bar or something like that, that'll allow you to get that extra range. But with dumbbells, it's a really good substitute in order to focus more on your range of motion and getting a really good stretch, but also adding a ton of attention to the stretch as well. It's always good to take your time with it a little bit and make sure everything's feeling good and in the right alignment. Alright, so here I'm doing a half kneeling cable row. Now for this, you'll see me kind of emphasize protracting the shoulder blade. That's something I like to do for rows of pretty much almost any variety. It just allows for a lot more movement of the shoulder blade. You also get a little bit of serratus anterior work, and you get more of a stretch on those lats. So don't be afraid to play around with the range of motion here and there, just kind of see how things go. But I'll catch y'all at the end. Alright, so now we're at the home stretch on the kettlebell seal rows. This was the last thing I did for that day, just as a way to kind of give my back a little bit of a break from stabilizing. But you'll notice that for most of my workout, I was focusing a lot on range of motion, getting a really good stretch, and keeping good structure. I don't do that all the time, but it is good to mix into your workout routine sometimes. But I'll be sure to catch y'all the next one. Have a good one.